We're joined now in the studio with Tim Oxley, the Animal Control Officer here in Swale. So, Tim, the dog walking scheme launches, the Green Dog Walking Scheme launches this week. What exactly is the scheme all about?
Yes, it does. Hello, Daniel. Thank you for having me back up here. It's about dog fouling, Daniel. Dog fouling, something that I bang on about all the time, but it's still a problem. And the idea of the Green Dog Walkers, it's a community-led programme, so it's actually run by the community to encourage, once again, the big mantra, which is responsible animal ownership. And it's to really encourage all dog walkers to talk amongst themselves and just to spread the word that if you've got a dog, then be responsible with it. If your dog messes when you're out walking, and it will happen, you know, it's not a problem, but just make sure that you clean up after it.
Tim, who developed the Green Dog Walkers idea?
Well, it was actually developed by council in Scotland, and I was looking at various ways of involving the community, because I really do believe that a lot of these problems are something that the community themselves can do something about. And I came across this scheme, which actually was developed in 2008. And it proved to be so successful up there that they decided to, if you like, license it out to other local authorities. Now, why reinvent the wheel when it's already there and it's already successful? So we spoke to them and negotiated and have managed to bring the whole scheme back down here to Swale.
So, Tim, who is running the scheme?
Okay, well, as I said earlier, it's a community-led programme, and the nice thing about this is that we can get or try to encourage local groups to actually volunteer to run it. In the case of this one, which effectively we're trialling in Sheppey first of all, Sheppey Green Friends, which are a part of Sheppey Matters, they're the group that have taken the gauntlet, if you like, grabbed the gauntlet and are running with it. So although we've organised it and I've spent time bringing it down here and getting the licence, effectively on the day-to-day level, it will be run by the Sheppey Green Friends, which is really nice because it does give ownership of it, as I said, to the community, rather than it being just another council project.
How can people get involved?
Quite simply, make a pledge, if you like, pledge to the scheme, contact Sheppey Green Friends through various ways. I'll give you some details about that in a moment. They will send out a pledge form, and all you simply do is make a pledge that you will always be a responsible dog walker. You'll always carry dog poo bags with you, and also some spare ones as well. And that's part of the idea, really. It's that you're out there walking with your dog. You see other people that have got dogs, you just say to them, good morning, you know, how are you, or whatever. Have you got any bags with you? You've forgotten it? Okay, here's a spare one. So it's really a word of mouth scheme. So you make a pledge to do that, and then just sign up. Sheppey Green Friends will then send out a starter pack, which is some dog bags, obviously, a nice little green armband, which I'm showing up here to Daniel, which is great for the radio because nobody can see it, but it's a little band that you wear just to acknowledge the fact that you're part of the scheme. And hopefully, and the way it's worked up in Falkirk in Scotland is that so many people start wearing these armbands to say that they're part of the scheme, that it starts to mushroom, it starts to spread, and people ask what the band's for, and again, word of mouth, and it really does make a big difference.
Tim, some people may be concerned that it could be seen as being confrontational.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Daniel. It's not the sort of scheme that has vigilantes out there looking after all the parks and being, if you like, aggressive to people. This is a very low-level, nice, friendly community scheme. And as I say, the emphasis is really on people just being polite to each other, spreading the word about animal responsibility, responsible animal ownership in a nice, friendly way. So, you know, we're not looking for lots of deputy dogs out there to be, oh, that's quite good actually, deputy dogs, to be looking after all the dog fouling. What we're looking for is people who care about the area, they care about the places they walk, they care about Sheppey, and just want to see it nice in the way it should be. It's ridiculous, and I say this all the time, that here we are, 2011, everybody knows that if you own a dog, you should clear up after it. But we still have this problem with dog fouling. So it's really trying to get the communities involved in a nice way. So when people sign up to the scheme, wear their little armband, take their dogs out for a walk, have the spare bags with them, and just chat nicely to other people. If it gets in any way confrontational, just walk away, because there may be some people who don't like other people talking to them about their dogs or whatever. Just move away. Don't worry about it. So it's not a confrontational thing. It is just a friendly, nice way of spreading the word that if we own dogs, let's be responsible for them.
Are there any other ways that the council are going to be promoting responsible dog ownership?
We're always looking at ways, Daniel, to be proactive, if you like. It's all very easy for a council to always be reactive. That is, with the broomstick clearing up the mess that's caused afterwards. And we're always looking for ideas of how to solve problems, if you like, before they happen. And another good one at the moment is microchipping. Identification of a dog is really important. Stray dogs, it's another part of the service that we offer. The collection of stray dogs it's a very, very important topic. We spend an awful lot of time, and indeed council taxpayers spend a lot of money in dealing with the stray dog problem in the borough. Now, we have a statutory duty as the council to look after stray dogs, and microchipping is all part of the jigsaw to try to solve the problem. I've said before that dogs by law should have a tag on them with a phone number, postcode, and the house number or name, just so that when the dog's out and about it can be recognised. But stray dogs tend not to be dogs that were out walking. They tend to be dogs that have made a bid for freedom. So they were in the garden, no need then to have the tag on. If a dog is microchipped, then the dog has a permanent identification on it all the time, so that at any time that dog is picked up, we can scan it with the chip reader, find out who the true owner is, and then get the dog back to the owner. Now, there is still a charge involved in doing that, which is a statutory charge that we have to do, but it gets away from the problem of having the dog taken to the kennels and having to travel over to Newington to pick the dog up. So that's something we're looking about. And what we're bringing in now, we tried it 2 years ago, having 3 microchipping days. Now, these were very successful. We had one in Sittingbourne, one in Sheerness and one in Faversham. And over the course of the 3 days, we microchipped 188 dogs, which I think was a phenomenal result. And it was so successful that we've now decided to introduce a monthly microchipping day in each of the 3 boroughs. So now we're launching this week in Sittingbourne. That's, I think, the 26th of May, at the Wyvern Hall, actually, a little car parking bay opposite the police station. It's running from 10 o'clock in the morning through until 3 in the afternoon. And all you do is pop along there. If your dog isn't microchipped, take it along, and you can get the dog microchipped for the reduced price of £10. Now, ideally, again, back to responsible ownership, if you own a dog, what you should be doing is taking it to the vet once a year for its vaccinations, and getting all these things done at a vet. But realistically, we know that some people, it's not convenient to do it that way, and we want to try to encourage everybody to get their dogs microchipped. So what we're going to do, as I say, is have these days, no appointments needed.
We are talking to Tim Oxley this evening in the studio. He's the Swale Borough Council Animal Control Officer. We're joined in the studio with Tim Oxley at the moment. He's the Swale Borough Council Animal Control Officer. Tim, who is eligible for these days?
Okay, Daniel. Well, I mean, the criteria really for who's eligible is really quite strict. You need to own a dog, and it needs not to be microchipped, and that's it. So if you've got a dog and it hasn't already been chipped, then of course you're eligible. Bring it along and get the dog chipped. Now, just to recap, because I don't know if I made it that clear, in June it'll be at the town centre in Sheerness. It's towards the end of the month, and I think the last Friday of the month. And then the following month it'll be in Faversham, and then we hope to do it on a 3-monthly rota like that. So if you miss it this time, there will be another opportunity. I mean, talking about microchipping as well as we were, it really is a very, very good way of identifying a dog, but it is only as good as the last telephone number and address on the chip. And one of the problems that we find is that people get their dogs microchipped, they move home, forget maybe that they've got the dog microchipped, or forget to get the details updated. So when we pick the dog up, we have a telephone number, we have an address, but the people don't live there anymore. So I mean, that's as good almost as not microchipping the dog at all. Now Petlog, who are one of the 4 microchipping databases in the country, but they are by far the biggest, actually part of the Kennel Club, they're aware of this problem. Now, June this year is the National Microchipping Month, and it's been sponsored by them this year. And what Petlog have decided, just for the month of June, if you own a dog and it's already microchipped, but the details aren't up to date, you've moved, or there's been some change in telephone numbers. I mean, a lot of people change their mobile numbers quite often. There is normally a cost involved in updating the details with Petlog. But for the month of June, if you ring them up, you can change your details over free of charge. So it's almost a great amnesty, if you like, for anyone that's got out-of-date details for their dog, just to get them all updated free of charge over the phone.
Tim, I was wondering if you could just refresh us with those useful contact details.
Yes, I can. As far as the green dog walkers, and again, remember, if it's something that you've got a dog and you want to take part with, then you can certainly get a pledge form from the council office in Trinity Road in Sheerness. Just pop in there, and they've got some behind the counter, and they'll give them to you. Or contact Amanda at Sheppey Matters, and contact her direct on 01795 585 335. Okay, so that's 01795 585 335. If you need to contact the council at all, our direct number, as always, is 01795 417 850. That's 01795 417 850. Now, quickly just getting back to the microchipping days, something I did forget to mention earlier. We're running them, as I say, on a monthly basis, but they're being run actually for us in partnership with the kennels we use for our stray dogs. That's Jasmine Kennels at Breach Lane in Newington. So they will be actually doing the microchipping at the reduced cost of £10 per dog. Something else Jasmine will want to do on those days is try to promote the rehoming of some of the strays that we have at the kennels, because obviously when we pick a dog up, what we really want to do is get the dog back to the owner, but there are some dogs, however, that aren't claimed and need to find new homes. And so it's really a joint thing to be responsible, get dogs microchipped, but also it's a good way really of promoting the rehoming service they do. And Jasmine can be contacted direct on 01795 842 466. That's 01795 842 466.
Tim, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along this evening.
Thanks, Daniel.
That's Tim Oxley here at BRFM 95.6, the Swale Borough Council Animal Control Officer.